We are joined by one of my favorite human beings. He's a comedy legend. He is Jimmy Pardo. Hey, Jimmy, how are you, sir?
Good morning. I'm on my 7th shot to the sheet.
Okay.
That's right.
We should explain.
Okay. That's where I trip up. I think that's where we all get tripped up, around the 7th.
We should explain. Jimmy is a man of sobriety and has been for many years, which is good for pretty much everybody, especially motorists everywhere.
Well, it's certainly me. But yeah, you're right about motor. I think I told you about the time I drove the wrong way on the expressway. So that is always good for motorists. Good call, Tommy.
Yeah, but I should explain that the Chick McGee is he doesn't ordinarily imbibe an alcoholic beverages while on the air in a visible manner.
That's
but
right.
He does have
mostly in secret. Thanks, John.
He does have the whiskey Advent calendar, which, as you know, with your Christian upbringing, the Advent calendar every day beginning December 1st through the 24th has
sometimes a chocolate or possibly some motivational thought.
Yes.
Yeah, we have the chocolate one here in the house. My full disclosure, it kind of sucks. The chocolate sucks.
You know what? I didn't want to say that earlier, but he's absolutely right.
No good chocolate in the Advent
Not
calendar.
good chocolate.
It's not good chocolate. How could it be good chocolate? It's in a cardboard little card. It's horrible. It's been sitting on the shelf for 8 months.
So
you want to profit or not?
So we're trying to come up with some alternative Advent calendars. We did find one that is the cannabis calendar.
Okay.
Which is legal only in certain states.
Right, and also for certain characters, certain types of people.
Sure.
Yeah, you don't want to use one if you have to work on a
Hippies!
lathe.
I'm talking about hippies.
Hippies.
There's also the erotic calendar, Jimmy. Where you
Now,
can
what do I get for that, chick?
well, this is
That's
Josh
Josh.
speaking.
That's Josh.
What, Jesus? Who's this?
Yes.
Well, it's confusing not seeing it. I just, Christy and Tom, and then any other guy that talks, I assume is chick.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, they have certain marital aids and toys and stuff that.
marital aids. There you go.
Utterly
Okay.
inappropriate for the
Well,
holiday.
how big
Sure.
is this? How big is the calendar? How small are the aids?
With the booze?
Suitcase, kind of a briefcase size with the sex toys. The booze one is what?
The booze one.
Shoebox, or-
No, Jimmy, you'll appreciate this. The booze one is about this. Is almost the exact same size as a vinyl album.
Oh, that's about 12 by 12, right?
About a 12 by 12. That's what you
You know,
got
I've seen that online. You posing with those tiny little bottles, and one of those is enough to get you hammered in the morning. That seems like
No. Well, no. 4 and 6 of them are. Yeah, 4, whatever you're working on. Yeah.
Are you jumping days, or you skip? Oh, I guess on Monday you got to play a little catch up, don't you?
That's right.
right.
Yeah. Because we're out. Our last day is the 21st, and this goes up till the 24th. So
I see.
in the process of catching up right now, actually.
Yeah. So why not do that at home when you could do it on the air in advance? Good call.
That's exactly good call.
You're familiar with
Professional.
rationalization.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the first step, is admitting. So I understand.
Hey, now, Jimmy Pardo, we had a chance to speak the other day to one of your faves.
Who'd you talk to?
We talked to the lead singer of REO Speedwagon.
Oh, what's
Kevin
Kevin
Cronin.
have to say?
Oh,
Well, we
said
asked him
happy
again.
holidays.
We said, you grew up.
You grew up in the exact...
Well, Jimmy, you tell the story.
Okay.
What? Yeah.
Wait, hang on. So, of course, the story, this is 1999, the year of our Lord, when this happened, October.
Right.
And I was backstage at our Speedwagon concert, and I finally had a chance to tell Kevin Cronin that we grew up in the same town, Hometown, Illinois. That's the name of this town, is Hometown. It's literally 1 mile by 1 mile. I think there's 3,000 people live there.
Yeah.
Not very big and not known for famous people. So
Right.
I had the chance to bond with a fellow famous person, apparently I thought. I'm not famous. Maybe that was the problem with the story. So I went up to him and I said, hey, Kevin, we have something very, very in common. We both grew up in Hometown. You grew up on Costner. I was on Corcoran. And I was in the end in Corcoran, and it just goes, is that right? And walked away.
Is that right?
And walked away.
And walked away.
And walked away from me. It's like, dude, this is not. I didn't say we both grew up in New York City.
This is something. This should be something to you. Yeah.
Right? So now when you talk to a Kevin Cronin, you certainly don't bring that up to him.
We didn't this time, but we did bring it up to him in person one time when he was in the studio. And he said, "Oh yeah, Jimmy," is what he said.
He's a really good guy, by the way. Super nice guy.
I know. I believe they are doing a benefit for the fire victims. Did you discuss that with them?
No, we were talking about they have a new, a remixed and remastered Christmas album, but he's a really, really nice guy. So, and
Well, that's great.
I'm sure you got a kick out of the story. And you know what it's like being bothered backstage. I've seen your rider when the Jimmy Pardo live comedy show goes out. What is it? Don't anyone look him in the eye. That sort of thing.
That's the first rule. I even say from the stage, on your way out, try to avoid eye contact.
Which is pretty easy because they're
okay,
foot and a half higher.
Okay, there we go.
Hey, he said.
Mark that time stamp.
Trying to change the subject. One thing Jimmy really did lose his mind about was we did talk to Steve Perry, and I thought he would never stop talking about how excited he was by that.
I was very excited for you guys.
Yeah.
I love that new album, and
it's great. And he's also he was so cool and during the interview, just really good guy listening to the questions. And for the story behind Steve Perry's album, it's really interesting, and that's why.
Yeah, I agree with that. I've been kind of that stalker where I've listened to every interview that he's done, and since the album's come out, and the album's my favorite album of the year. I think it's phenomenal.
Did you hear me say to him, "Thanks for growing old"?
I gotta be honest, you're the one I did not listen to.
See, because some people
you could sense when Tom was going to talk, and you dipped the audio.
Some people would take that the wrong way. He thought it was funny.
Yeah. Well, good for him. He seems great. By all accounts, folks that I know that know him say he's a terrific guy, and obviously he's got, in my opinion, the best voice in rock history. So others will say Robert Plant or Paul Rogers. I tell them they're wrong.
Oh, okay.
They're all great in their own way. Jimmy Pardo, by the way, is going to be at Catfish Bend Casino in Burlington, Iowa this New Year's Eve.
Whoa, that's got to be a special show, huh?
It's a rare New Year's Eve appearance for Jimmy Pardo. I haven't done it in years.
Yeah, the shooter does not go out on New Year's Eve.
They've got to tick a lot of boxes to get Daddy out of the house.
That's exactly right.
That'll be a great show. And I will say this. I've probably seen, I don't know, what do you think, 300 at least or more stand-up comedians?
Probably.
Top 10 of all time includes the great Jimmy Pardo.
Thank you.
I'm going to go top 9.
Oh, gee, a little more. Anybody, Josh, you want to go top 8?
Yeah, I'm going to go to top 47. I think you're
you went that way. Okay.
I'd say top 5.
and I use top 5. Thank you, Chris.
You're welcome.
Grace, you got thoughts?
Have you ever seen him?
I have seen him. I'd go with Christy. I'd say top 5.
I will say the greatest opening line. I'm not sure if I should tell the whole story, but I'll be very vague. The greatest opening line ever at a tribute show to a very fine deceased fellow.
A sweet man.
Probably the funniest opening line humanly possible. No, I'm not going to say what it was.
Climbs up on the stage. Yeah, it was amazing.
What do you mean you can't? You can't say what it was.
I kind of want to hear what it was.
Yeah.
Everyone was saying really nice things about the guy. He was a great guy, and Pardo gets up there first line.
And the look on your face, you say, this is really...
Got to say, never cared for the man.
but
the crowd went berserk.
He set it up with that sincere, this is really awkward for me because... and then what usually follows is, he was such a sweet man. We were so close.
It's all about the delivery.
That's the cup of magic you can hear on December 31st.
That's exactly
now,
right.
Jimmy Pardo is also one of the, you're like the Lewis and Clark, or the Lewis of podcasting.
Boy, I'll take that. People say pioneer, and I guess that... I think I'm more Clark, but you want to go with Lewis, I'm cool with that.
Yeah. I would have gone with Lewis, having read... the books, but yeah, it's fine. You're the Lewis.
You hear what happened there? Yeah, you heard what happened there.
Okay, I think we know my first line of your tribute. I think it's going to pay off.
But now, if one wants to hear Jimmy Pardo in the podcast, how does one do that, Jimmy?
Well, you go to nevernotfunny.com, and this week we had the great Chris Elliott on promoting his the movie he's in, and and you guys talk to these guys on a regular basis, but. We're not getting a chance to talk to like the comedy legends like Chris Elliott and the like Richard Lewis, Paul Reiser when they come in. It's great, and like I said, Chris Elliott was this week, and you can listen to it right now by going to nevernotfunny.com.
Cool.
Let's. How about the 5 nicest guys you've had on your show in the last decade?
Oh boy, you know what? I got to put Chris Elliott right up there. I got to put Ty Burrell from Modern Family up there.
That's good to know.
Of course, Conan O'Brien. Right. I think I legally have to say that. I'm probably under some sort of contract. Boy, oh boy, Sarah Silverman, of course, is one of the nicest human beings on the planet. And that's about it. Everybody else is kind of an a-hole. Okay. Those seem like the 4 that I'd go with.
Okay, very good. Now, how many musicians have you had on the show?
Not a lot. We just had Ace Frehley of Kiss on.
So did you?
It was not in that list. Jimmy gave.
No, that's well. I wasn't thinking of that.
I said
He's
comedians.
A very nice man.
Oh,
He actually was surprisingly. Now you guys have talked to Ace, right?
Yep, of course.
Yes.
And Ace has hung out with him. Our own Ace, our engineer, is how many Kiss concerts, Ace?
Around 300.
Around 300.
300 for Ace. I know, and I think, but I'm nowhere near that. Although I do have my tickets for this final go around.
I'm
They better
going.
mix up that set list, Ace.
Ace and I are going to hang.
You guys, you're going to go with Ace?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because then Ace said he brings you backstage.
Oh, I don't want to go backstage. I hate doing that, but I'll be in the front row.
I'll be going backstage.
No.
Yeah, of course, Ace. And Tom, if there's any way for you to know everything I say, that'd be great. If there's just there's a way to not build on anything that I'm saying, that would be phenomenal.
That's nevernotfunny.com except today.
That's the kind of humor you're going to hear over there.
That's right, baby.
Once
Come
again,
out for New Year's Eve, everybody.
Jimmy Pardo, there's nobody doing what Jimmy's doing on stage. I'm not sure why, because he's the best. Jimmy Pardo will be once again at the Catfish Bend Casino, Burlington, Iowa, for New Year's Eve.
Not to be missed, Burlington.
I got the great Hannah Hogan opening up for me, and like I said, I haven't done it. I haven't done a New Year's in ages. So again, to get Jimmy out of the house, it's a big deal, and it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great fun.
Now, let's talk a little. You mind if I ask you about your family? Everything going okay? Have you done your Christmas shopping?
Yeah, Christmas shopping's done. I got my son Oliver right here. He's about a foot and a half away from me, so Christmas shopping can't be discussed in detail.
Sure.
Jimmy, how is Oliver? The last podcast I heard he was sick, and there were a lot of tests going on. I mean, he's okay.
We're still dealing with that, but he seems to be on the mend. And what do you think, Oliver? You doing okay? He just gave me the Cronin treatment.
Is that right?
And walked away.
And walked away from Dad.
Walked away from me. My own kid just walked away from me. I'm asking about him.
Now, we've been doing Inventions today on the show.
Yeah?
And we've come up with... Because I've got one for Jimmy.
You might want to do a podcast about this, Jimmy.
See,
I want to take some notes.
First of all, Chick McGee has been watching Shark Tank, and fortunately, he's confined most of his
Love for it
comments
off
about
the
it to
air.
off the air
Yes.
endlessly, and no one can stand it any longer.
That's a true statement. As
But-
Jimmy would say, that's a true statement.
We were talking about the fact that with all these people stealing packages off of doorsteps and porches, what are they called again now? Porch
Pirates.
Porch pirates.
Pirates.
Why is that so
So
hard?
we decided we need to bring back the moat,
Yeah.
where you dig a thing around your house, fill it with water,
That
and
is
then you have
what
to
a
have a
moat is.
drawbridge, and then Chick.
You're going to have to check with your HOA on that.
Yeah, the homeowners association.
Or
may-
once the
maybe
moat's
bother.
in, no, you don't. Okay?
Yeah, and then you've
Well,
decided.
you can get fined. Can you not get fined for not?
Sure.
contacting the
But
HOA?
who came up with the moat remote?
That was
Chick
me,
did.
the moat remote.
To-
You know.
to-
What does the remote road do? Is that for the drawbridge?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the drawbridge. You got to have a drawbridge. There's not really a moat. And you know how troubling it is to have to get out of the car and roll the drawbridge up and then get back in and drive away.
hate that.
Chick probably knows it more than I do here at the compound in the old days.
That's right. That's right.
Now, that was our
Yeah.
first invention. The second one was instead of Elf on a Shelf, it's Alf on a Shelf, where the
that's
great
yours.
space alien.
You take all of the credit for that, please.
Because you know how funny Alf was.
Did you know that
We just lost a father from that. That guy passed away? Is that correct?
Max Wright?
Yeah, didn't he just pass away recently?
God, I hope.
Did we lose him, Jimmy? Did we lose him too soon? Did we?
I think right on time.
Oh, he was great. Did you ever see the show Buffalo Bill, Jimmy?
Sure, the great Dabney Coleman.
Dabney Coleman. Did you know that the same people that created that created Alf, and they said that the reason they did it was that they thought that a puppet could get away with being that insulting, whereas Buffalo Bill never could.
Yeah, you know, we just talked about that on the award-winning podcast Never Not Funny, Buffalo Bill, for the same reasons. Like that show could get that could be on the air today. Speaking of too soon, that show was on just way too soon, don't you think?
I love
yeah.
that show.
I think
No,
so.
so here's
Max Wright is alive and well,
Good.
by the way.
Thank God.
geez.
I
He's
hope
great.
he's doing great then. I hope.
Once again, Jimmy Pardo, never not funny and never accurate when it comes
He
to deaths
looks a little
in the
old,
news.
but I think he's okay.
So here's my idea. It's a combination of two of your favorite people, Conan O'Brien and Kevin Cronin. Of course, it's Cronin O'Brien. And you pull the string on the doll, and he goes, "That's right."
No, is that right, you jerk?
Well, you
That's
gotta-
okay. The doll's not perfect. The doll's not,
we're just in the planning phase.
it's just in the beta phase. We can't be upset
right,
We're
with that.
spitballing here.
Okay, Jimmy Pardo, huge Kiss fan, huge fan of the band Chicago.
Yeah, what do you got?
Have you seen all of your favorite bands from back in the day over the years?
Yeah, I think I have.
Okay, so who are your other favorites besides Chicago and Kiss?
Iron Maiden. I love Iron Maiden, of course.
They're going back out.
Oh yeah, I got my tickets for September already. That's nice to do, right? When you got to buy concert tickets a year and a half in advance.
Yeah.
And Bruce, it's called compound interest, by the way. If you want to look that
It's
up.
optimistic, isn't it?
Especially in our ages.
So yeah, I'm gonna go. Pink Floyd, of course, Roger Waters. I think I've seen everybody.
Yeah. Okay.
I just saw Phil Collins. That was phenomenal.
He's great.
Ooh,
God, I
I've
love
heard
him.
that.
Did you get to see Chicago with Cetera?
I saw. Yeah, it was probably 25, 30 times.
Yeah. Cetera, by the way, that's Peter Cetera. Not. It sounds like a drug they'd advertise in the news at night.
Now, I've done that about 25, 30 times as well. And, I'll tell you what, if you got 45 minutes, I can list the side effects for you.
Now, besides you got the podcast, how much stand-up are you doing these days, Jimmy Pardo?
You know what? I get about once a month if I'm lucky. Let me rephrase. If the crowd's lucky.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right.
Yeah.
Look at that. But you know what? The podcast, I'm very lucky I have that. I did just have the pleasure of working on Sarah Silverman's show, the I Love You America for Hulu. So getting out is rough, and I like being home with my little guy Oliver. We wrestle, we do our nonsense.
Good.
Is Oliver your height yet?
Nobody's getting close, which scares me because another year he'll be able to beat me up. I'm not going to tolerate that.
No.
I could go to be picking him up at school or whatever. Hey, my dad can beat up your dad. I'll hear Oliver go, hell, I can beat up my dad. 5'4" and a comedian. What's he done in his life?
Oh, God. Okay, well, Jimmy Pardo, it's always a great pleasure. I recommend your live show to everyone.
Absolutely.
New Year's Eve. Now, will you be on stage at the stroke of midnight? How does that work?
Oh, here's the beauty of this gig. One of the boxes I mentioned earlier got ticked. 7:30 show, done by 9.
All right. Nice.
There you go.
Attaboy.
9. I'm in bed by midnight.
Wow.
It's going to be great.
Okay, thanks, Jimmy. We'll look forward to seeing you soon.
I'm going to see you guys soon. I appreciate you having me on.
Best of luck.
Thank
One
you,
of the
Jimmy.
great shows.
Happy holidays.
Yeah.
Happy holidays. Bye, everybody.
Bye, Jimmy. See you, man.